Was there ever a time in the past 5 years where you thought of throwing in the towel and quitting?
Yes, actually, it has happened when there was a time when I was working with an agency and we weren't getting paid, and I personally didn't get any pay for about 8 months.
What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having an amazing day. I know I am. We're here in Montreal, gonna go meet up with Christopher for the first Realtor interview of 2026. You guys seem to like this year's in 2025, so we're gonna continue it this year. We're gonna do as many Realtor interviews as we possibly can, and really the whole goal of this is to give you guys an idea of how other Realtors are growing their business tangibly every single day. You all know there's so many strategies out there, from cold calling to door knocking to running ads and doing all these things and building relationships with clients and posting a lot of content. But we're gonna go see how these people are growing their business every day, the mindset that they have to have in order to do it, some of the challenges that they faced, and just open the curtain so you guys can see it all. With that being said, let's go meet them. All right, so who am I here with?
This is Christopher George.
Hey Christopher, it's a pleasure to meet you. Do you want to tell me a bit about where we are right now?
Yeah, so right now we're at my listing at 4959 Rue Jean Talon West. It's a beautiful 2-bed, 2-bath, right around 1,000 square feet with 1 parking, and the amenities here are absolutely insane.
That's great, man. I'm taking a look around. It looks pretty great. Might put an offer in myself.
Yeah,
but
get the papers ready.
Perfect. What got you into real estate, man?
Honestly, when I was right around 19 years old, I had graduated CEGEP, and my cousin at the time was in real estate. He was a real estate broker, and I was sometimes helping him with certain things, certain tasks, and I then asked him, can I get more involved, doing open houses for you and opening doors and stuff. So I kind of like what I did, and I was more curious to know if I could take it a step forward. And I realized that my school was offering the program for real estate, so I took the leap of faith, and here I am now.
Awesome. Okay, so you worked with a team before.
Yeah, so I worked in a team for about 3.5 years, and now I transitioned into working on my own.
Awesome. And how has that transition be? What's been, I guess, one of the biggest differences, maybe positive and negative, from being on a team versus being on your own?
Well, when I worked in a team, I got a lot of experience. I got my feet wet a lot, but I wasn't really building my name, right? I was building somebody else's name. Yeah. But it's good because I was very young and I got a lot of experience from it, and it got me started. But 3.5 years in, I realized, I want to start building my name, and I want to start it earlier than later. So that's when I transitioned into becoming a solo broker at Remax.
Okay, so now you've been in the game for 5 years.
Yeah,
what's been the key to steady growth throughout this past 5 years?
Yeah, so I would say, it sounds very cliche, but staying consistent, working extremely hard and being there for your clients, and just always learning, constantly learning, because there's always new things to learn, especially in our business. Yeah. It evolves tremendously. So just being there and present and working extremely hard.
Awesome. And people definitely say all the time, oh yeah, I put my clients' needs above my own. And it's easy to say that. It's a harder thing to do it. Do you have an example of how you've been able to successfully do that over the past 5 years, and maybe how that helps you stand out compared to other realtors who, again, just say it rather than do it?
Definitely, yeah. I think I like to take it from more of a human approach. And one example I can give is a client that was looking to purchase a duplex, and there's a lot of duplexes for sale. And rather than just showing them, because clients, they always get worried, am I seeing too much, too little? And sometimes they just feel like they're wasting a lot of our time, but that's not the case. I like to make sure that my client is seeing every possible option that meets their needs, and not just rushing things. So if I can think of one example, we were visiting 10 duplexes in a certain area, and then the client was hesitant on other neighborhoods. It was an investment property, so it was open to different neighborhoods. I could have just stuck with one neighborhood or 2 neighborhoods, but I remember we even went outside of the island and actually was able to close on an investment property that was outside of the scope that he was initially looking at.
All right, so we talked about how your first transaction was a rental here in the city. What was your first sale like?
So my first sale transaction was on Saint Denis Street in Plateau Montreal. It was an undivided co-ownership condo, very different from a divided co-ownership, a lot more complex. And at the time, the client that I was working with was also first-time home buyer. So he had a lot of questions, and I knew very little. So every time I had to tell him like, I'll get back to you, I'll get back to you. But that was a beautiful thing about like starting, is like you want to make sure like you're informed on a lot of things, and I got to learn a lot from it, and I'm very grateful because I'm still in touch with the same client.
That's awesome. And I completely agree. The best way to learn something is to throw yourself in it. You throw yourself in it, you get your hands dirty, you get your feet wet, like you said, and like they ask you a question. Again, don't pretend like you know everything, but till you take the time, go get the information you need to do, you learn. And ultimately, everyone out there is the same. Everyone out there is doing the exact same thing. Nobody knows everything. And once you realize that, hey, like no matter how like young you are in the industry, or no matter you're super experienced, like everyone's still trying to figure it out.
100%.
So really good stuff. Quick pause for a second. If you're a realtor watching this, trying to grow your business intentionally this year, not chasing random tactics, not buying leads blindly, I built something called Eden Modern Realtor specifically for you. It's a Skool community where we break down exactly how our realtors that we're working with are growing their business today. Ads, content, follow-up strategy, offers, we break it all down in here and go over real examples of what our agents are doing across the US and Canada. I mentioned it's free. It's the exact same strategies that Charles used to land 4 listings in just 90 days of starting with us, that Karina used to sell 2 buyers within her first 60 days of starting with us, and so many more agents across the country are experiencing every single day. There's no guru fluff, no one hack nonsense, just systems that compound over time. If you want to see how we structure real growth here at Eden and want to work alongside other realtors who are taking their businesses seriously, make sure to hit the link below. All right, now back to the video. All right, man. So aside from your physical morning routines and ice baths and stuff like that, what's a mindset shift that has helped you grow your business over the past 5 years?
Again, just coming back to staying focused, consistent, resilient. You're going to get rejected a lot in this business when speaking with clients, prospecting, meeting people. Just always believing that little wins are going to come along the way, and appreciating those little tokens of wins that you get along the way, and not looking at it on a shorter term thing, but more like a long term. If you want to be in this business for a long term, you got to have patience and just always believe in yourself.
Is there something that you do specifically to celebrate your small wins? Like, or is it just mainly a mental, like you give yourself a tap on the shoulder kind of thing?
I think it's more, I'm more of an introvert person. So I would say I don't like going out and celebrating and stuff. I like celebrating my clients when they're happily entered their homes and their investments. But besides that, personally, I just like being with people I love.
Awesome, man. That's great advice.
Thank you.
All right, man. So being in real estate for 5 years, like you've gone through some challenges, some ups, some downs. What's one of the biggest downs or biggest challenges that you faced over your career so far?
Well, I started very young, so I guess the age was somewhat of an issue at times. You have to portray yourself very professionally in the business, and people can tell when you're very young. So I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges I had. Sometimes I've had clients that didn't want to work with me because they kind of understood that I was younger.
How do you take that? Because I've also seen many people, especially now in real estate, there are a lot of very young people getting into real estate and trying to break out of like kind of the norms, the professionalism that people expect, right? Older man, suit, selling real estate. Like now you have people doing all kinds of things to stand out, be different online, right? How important do you think it is to hold kind of like that standard of professionalism that real estate has had for so many years?
I think it starts with the first impression that a client has, which is how you're dressed. You want to make sure you're dressed professionally. A lot of younger people today, they dress like they're dressed back home and while they're sitting and having a popcorn and watching TV. So I think it's just how you're dressed, your tone, keeping your back straight, being confident. Those are things that will stand out and kind of show that although you are young, you believe in yourself, and that will portray it towards the client.
I heard that, I think it was when I was playing sports when I was younger. It was, what was the saying? It was like, look good, feel good, play good. So if
Yeah.
you look good, you feel good about yourself, and you play better just because you have that, like, I'm the dog,
Yeah,
like that kind of
yeah,
mentality.
100%. 100%. I agree. I think you have to always dress nicely, have a good, nice haircut, shaved.
Yeah.
You know, those are some things that client will see and recognize and will probably take that leap of faith.
Absolutely. I think some people have a misconception too of like, oh, real estate agents, they want to wear all the suits. They want to do this to show off, their money, their success, their
Yeah,
this, their
yeah.
that. But like in reality too, like that, but you guys, like there's a lot of real estate agents who also find a balance of like, I want to look professional. I want to look good because I want to feel good. I want to play good. I want to perform well. I'm not trying to show off, but like people
Yeah.
have this misconception of real estate agents that they make all this money and they do all this stuff. But like when you're getting started, man, like it's not like there's only a top percent of these real estate agents out here that are actually making the big bucks and making it work. Yes, it's easy. Like it's easier than people think, I believe, to make a career out of it. And I think you've shown like in the past 5 years, hey, look, this is how you make a career out of real estate. Like this is how you do it. But sometimes the outside world perceives it a lot differently, as if like, oh, it's people's quick ticket to make a buck,
Yeah, I agree. I think one advice I have for younger brokers that want to get into the field is just being yourself, being true to who you are, and not try to be somebody else that you aren't. Because clients, anybody, in fact, will grasp that. If you're trying to be somebody else that you aren't, just being true to yourself and true to your principles, your values, and clients will appreciate that.
No, I like that. It's good advice. Was there ever a time in the past 5 years where you thought of throwing in the towel and quitting?
Yes, actually. It has happened when there was a time when I was working with an agency and we weren't getting paid, and I personally didn't get any pay for about 8 months.
Dang.
So a lot of people don't know how much expenses we have as brokers. And back then when I didn't receive anything in my bank account, the expenses were attacking a lot faster. So that was very hard. And that's probably one of the only times when I was like, maybe I should think about doing something else.
Okay, so with those challenges in mind, what's one piece of advice you would have for somebody looking to get into real estate or build their career as a realtor in either in this city or in general?
I think, first of all, don't just go in it because you're hearing from people that you're going to make a lot of money. Yes, the money you make is endless because really we're self-employed, but really get in it because you have at least something that attracts you. It could be like housing, it could be customer interaction. Have some, piece of passion that will, push you towards getting into real estate. But seriously, don't get it into real estate for the income, because in the very beginning, it's going to be very hard. And it'll take a lot of time for you to actually make consistent money and a career out of it.
That's great advice, man. I realized I forgot to ask you earlier too, tying into that, to like the difficulties you face when growing your business. How do you currently go about getting most of your new clients and your new business, and where do they come from?
Well, every broker's dream is to get endless referrals. Obviously, that's the easiest interaction that we have and easiest transaction, I think. But personally, for me, I don't believe in the traditional like door-to-door and cold calling, because, for instance, I wouldn't want to get cold called. I get cold called enough. I don't like being bothered over the phone. So I believe in social media a lot. I've been investing a lot into social media, just growing my brand over there and doing a lot of marketing. So it could be like Google ads, Meta ads, reaching out to my target audience.
Good stuff, man. Do you recommend that kind of strategy for other people as well, or kind of each their own? How do you see it?
I would say each to their own. It depends what market you want to reach, and if you have a personal big enough network to be able to have consistent business. But if you don't, then you have to find other alternatives. And that could be doing online paid marketing, free marketing. It could be reaching out to your network, or going door to door.
That's great advice, man. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.